Nobody's hitting her shot. Bang. So right there, Caitlin's shot looked like it's back, y'all. I mean, she ain't even jumping for real. Now, I don't think this was a 3 either. Nope, it wasn't. This looked like a mid-range shot. But overall, her form looked great. But I'm just saying, bruh, when it comes to Sophie Cunningham, the people got her numbers, and they know that she's one of the ones, man. Now, with all of that being said, we ain't gonna waste no time, man. We're gonna head on over to the WNBA Twitter account, because I almost was trying to make a video about this, because the WNBA, I don't know what, like, they just been posting these clips of Team USA, and they really haven't been posting Caitlin. I just gotta be honest. So this was the clip right here that just came.
That's not just commentary. That's confirmation of what many of you have been noticing for weeks. Caitlin Clark's shooting form looks different now. Not different like she changed her technique. Different like she got something back that she lost. And the footage coming out of Team USA's North Carolina training camp is revealing a story that the WNBA might not want us connecting the dots on. Here's what actually happened at that practice. No teammates walked out. Nobody had to leave because the intensity was too much. That's clickbait theater. But something real did happen. Something that matters far more than manufactured drama. Caitlin Clark showed up to her first full Team USA session looking like the player who broke every college basketball record in existence. Not the exhausted rookie who spent last season fighting her own body while carrying an entire franchise. And if you've been following this closely, you already know what that means. The physical transformation she went through to survive her rookie season came with a cost that nobody wanted to talk about. Until now. If you believe the real story is always hiding beneath the headlines, hit that like button. Because what we're about to break down explains why her rookie numbers were impressive despite the obstacles, not because everything went according to plan. Let's start with the timeline nobody's connecting. Before Caitlin's WNBA debut, the narrative was clear. She needed to add muscle. She needed to handle the physicality. She needed to absorb contact from defenders who'd been promising for months that they were going to test her. So she did exactly what everyone said she should do. She bulked up. She added significant muscle mass. She transformed her body to match what the league demanded, and her shooting mechanics immediately suffered for it. Now, you won't hear that analysis from the mainstream outlets. They'll talk about adjustment periods. They'll mention the learning curve. They'll cite the faster pace and the better defenders. All of that is true. But none of it explains why her release point changed, why her range became inconsistent, why those logo threes that used to look automatic suddenly clanked off the back iron. Watch that Team USA practice footage again. She's not jumping. She's not forcing the motion. That's pure muscle memory from Iowa, and it's back because she's had 3 months to let her body return to its natural composition, the composition that made her the most efficient scorer in college basketball history. Here's what the WNBA doesn't want to admit. The physical punishment Caitlin absorbed last season wasn't just about learning to compete at the next level. It was about surviving a systematic campaign to test whether she could handle what veterans decided she deserved. The flagrant fouls that went uncalled, the body checks that drew no whistles, the physical intimidation that the league office repeatedly failed to address. So she bulked up to survive it. And in doing so, she compromised the shooting form that made her unstoppable. That's not speculation, that's biomechanics. Add muscle mass, change your center of gravity. Change your center of gravity. Alter your release point. Alter your release point. Lose the effortless trigger that made defenders panic from 30 feet out. Caitlin Clark spent her rookie season playing a version of basketball that wasn't natural to her body, all because the league couldn't protect her the way they protect every other star. And now, 3 months removed from that grind, Her real form is back.
And I think, there's already been so much time, effort put in by so many people that, aren't going to get credit for what they did to bring All-Star here. So, trying to make it the best All-Star the WNBA has ever had. I know we'll certainly do that, but also, it is certainly a cool honor.
That's going up on the JW.
I haven't seen it, but I've heard about it. Yeah, it's pretty solid. Anytime you get on the JW in Indianapolis, like, that's a big deal. Good, thanks.
What do you feel like is a positive trait?
A positive what? Sorry. Trait? I think just adversity in itself. Like, nobody said this season was going to be perfect for us. There's always going to be ups and downs. And, I think as we get moving here and get to All-Star, then get through All-Star, like, these are the moments that we're going to look back on and hopefully be able to, give a lot of credit to for certain situations that we were put in, for, injuries or, coach it not being here for a couple games too. Like, everybody's been through a little bit of adversity here. So, I think just giving our group credit for being able to stick together and, know that whatever's in our locker room is really all we need to go out there and win. And I'm honestly just really proud of our group.
Listen to how carefully she chooses those words. Adversity, situations they were put in, injuries, coaching absences, sticking together through it all. That's media training at its finest. Stay positive. Credit the team. Don't acknowledge the elephant in the room. But here's what she's not saying. She's not talking about the cultural battleground her rookie season became. She's not addressing the constant debates that had nothing to do with basketball. She's not mentioning the media circus that turned every game into a referendum on race, popularity, and who deserved the spotlight. That's the mental load no rookie should have to carry. Learning a new system while adjusting to a faster pace, while dealing with defenders who've studied your tendencies, that's normal rookie stuff. Doing all of that while being the most scrutinized athlete in women's sports, while carrying an offensive load that would exhaust a veteran, while navigating questions that have nothing to do with your performance, that's what made last season so draining. And it shows in how she's managing her body now, day to day. She keeps saying, doing everything with the medical staff to be available. That's not just injury management. That's someone who learned the hard way that playing more minutes than anyone in the league while absorbing punishment that goes unprotected will break you down. So, she's being smart now. Recovery, maintenance, building a body that lasts a decade, not just survives a season. But here's the part that should concern everyone who actually cares about the WNBA's future. The league's official social media accounts spent all weekend posting Team USA practice clips. Angel Reese got her highlights package. Chelsea Gray got her moment. They even posted a generic young player's shout-out that included a brief flash of Caitlin. But the player who drove a 48% increase in regular season viewership didn't get her own dedicated feature.
Well, I'm telling you right now, this weekend was pretty decent, man. Caitlin Clark returned back to the basketball court, and I'm telling you right now, from the little snippets of clips we was able to see, she looked like her old self again, man. They didn't spill too much of the beans that was going on with her online, but there has been a bunch of footage coming out. Now, Sue Bird spoke to the media yesterday. A couple of other coaches did, but y'all already know what we hear. We here to see CC, man. Now, there was some news that came out about Angel Reese and stuff, but we ain't really too much tripping off that. Now, someone I have not seen them post yet is Stephanie White. It's almost like Stephanie White is non-existent for this Team USA. Now, I know she's one of the coaches. I don't believe she spoke to the media, which is crazy to me because Stephanie White was on a whole media run last year. This year, I think she did like maybe a couple interviews, but overall, she's been kind of silent. I don't know what.
Think about what that means. Stephanie White was everywhere last year. Media appearances, podcast interviews, building her profile as the next great WNBA coach. Then she gets the Fever job, inherits the most marketable player in women's basketball history, and suddenly goes silent. She's on the Team USA coaching staff, and she's not speaking to the media. Multiple sources are whispering about tension between what the Fever front office wants and what the league office expects. We're getting into rumor territory here, but the breadcrumbs lead somewhere specific. Stephanie White understands what Caitlin needs to succeed. An offense built around her strengths, plays designed to get her open looks, a system that maximizes her vision and range instead of forcing her to conform. But there's pressure to spread the attention, to elevate other players, to make sure Caitlin doesn't overshadow the narrative that the WNBA wants to tell about parity and depth and multiple stars. So Stephanie goes quiet, lets her work speak, builds in private instead of promising in public. That's either brilliant strategy or a troubling sign, depending on whether the league lets her actually implement the system Caitlin needs. Because here's the reality that practice footage is revealing. Caitlin Clark, with her natural shooting form restored, with 3 months to reset and rebuild, with the joy of playing basketball without carrying the entire weight of the WNBA's future, that's the version who should terrify the rest of the league. The rookie season was impressive despite all the obstacles. Rookie of the Year despite the adjustment period, All-Star despite the exhaustion, playoff appearance despite the chaos. Now imagine what happens when she's actually comfortable. Drop a comment right now with your prediction. Is next season the year we finally see the real Caitlin Clark, or is the league going to waste another opportunity? Because what we're about to break down matters for everyone who actually wants to see the WNBA reach its full potential. Here's what that Team USA footage is really showing us. When Caitlin doesn't have to carry an entire franchise on her back, when she's not absorbing physical punishment that goes unprotected, when she's not navigating a media environment that turns every performance into a cultural debate, she looks like the most effortless scorer in basketball. That quick release is back. The confidence is back. The joy of playing without the weight of the world on her shoulders is back, and that should tell you everything about what her rookie season actually cost her. The shooting struggles weren't just about adjusting to better defenders. The inconsistent range wasn't just about learning a new system. The moments where she looked exhausted and overwhelmed weren't just rookie growing pains. She was fighting her own body. A body she'd transformed to survive punishment the league refused to prevent. A body that no longer moved the way her muscle memory expected. Now she's had time to reset, time to let that added muscle come off naturally, time to rediscover the biomechanics that made her unstoppable at Iowa. And the result is exactly what you're seeing in North Carolina. Pure, effortless scoring from a player who doesn't have to think about her mechanics anymore. That's dangerous for the rest of the WNBA, because the rookie version, the compromised version, still won Rookie of the Year, still made the All-Star team, still led her team to the playoffs. The version with her natural form restored and a full offseason to study the league and work with Stephanie White on system adjustments. That's the version that could rewrite what's possible, but only if the league stops sabotaging itself. Let's talk about Sophie Cunningham for a moment, because this matters more than people want to admit. She ranked 8th on the most Googled athletes list for 2024, the only WNBA player besides Caitlin to make that list. And whether you love her or hate her, that means something. Sophie generates attention. She creates conversation. She moves the needle in ways that most players simply don't. Word around Indiana is that Fever fans soured on Sophie last season. The physical play against Caitlin, the confrontations, the way she carried herself, that relationship fractured publicly. But here's what the Google data reveals. The WNBA has exactly 2 players who generate mainstream attention right now. 2 out of an entire league. And instead of building around that reality, instead of maximizing the star power they actually have, the league seems determined to pretend everyone is equally marketable. They're not. That's not cynicism. That's basic marketing reality. You lead with your stars. You let them pull everyone else up. You create a rising tide that lifts all boats. The NBA understood this with Michael Jordan, with LeBron James, with Steph Curry. They didn't apologize for their stars being more popular. They leaned into it, marketed the hell out of it, and built a global brand. The WNBA has that opportunity right now. Caitlin Clark is giving them the blueprint. She drove a 48% viewership increase. She sold out arenas. She brought in demographics the league has been chasing for decades. And the league's response has been to downplay it, to spread the attention thin, to avoid giving her the spotlight she's earned because they're worried about perceptions and narratives and making sure everyone feels included. That's not how you build a sustainable business. That's how you waste a generational opportunity. Here's what keeps getting overlooked in all the debates about popularity and marketing. Caitlin isn't just the most marketable player. She's rapidly becoming one of the best players, period. The rookie season numbers were impressive despite all the obstacles. 20 points per game while adjusting to a new level. League-leading assists while running an offense designed for someone else. Playoff appearance with a team that won 13 games the year before. Now give her Stephanie White's system. Give her teammates who've had a full training camp to develop chemistry. Give her officials who actually protect her from flagrant contact. Give her a body that moves the way her instincts expect. And most importantly, give her the mental space to just play basketball without carrying the cultural weight of the entire WNBA on her shoulders. That's the player who shows up next season. And if the league is smart, they'll stop treating her rise like a problem to manage and start treating it like the gift it actually is. Because here's the uncomfortable truth that nobody wants to say out loud. The WNBA needs Caitlin Clark more than Caitlin Clark needs the WNBA. She could walk away tomorrow and be fine. Endorsement deals, media opportunities, a basketball career overseas if she wanted it. The league would survive, sure, but they'd go right back to fighting for scraps of attention in a crowded sports landscape. Caitlin gives them mainstream relevance. She gives them ratings that matter. She gives them a player that casual fans will actually pay to watch. And the way they've handled that gift so far has been, frankly, embarrassing. The official social media accounts posting everyone except her. The failure to protect her from physical play that would draw suspensions in any other context. The constant narrative that her popularity somehow diminishes other players instead of elevating the entire league. That's organizational dysfunction masquerading as equity, and it's costing them the chance to build something sustainable. So here's what I'm watching for as we head into next season. Does the WNBA finally commit to marketing Caitlin the way she deserves? Does Stephanie White get the freedom to build an offense that maximizes her strengths? Do the officials start calling the game fairly when she's got the ball? And most importantly, does Caitlin come back with that Iowa confidence fully restored, ready to show everyone what she's actually capable of when she's not fighting her own body? Because if the answer to those questions is yes, next season is going to be special. The ratings are going to explode, the attendance is going to soar, and the WNBA is going to have to reckon with what it means to have a generational talent who can change the trajectory of the entire league. If you're ready to see what happens when the league stops getting in its own way, hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications. We're going to be breaking down every development, every game, every moment that reveals whether the WNBA learned the right lessons from year one. Because the Team USA footage we're seeing right now, that's just the preview. The real story starts when the season tips off and we find out if everyone's ready for the version of Caitlin Clark who's finally comfortable in her own skin again. Next up, we're diving into Stephanie White's coaching philosophy and what it means for the Fever system overhaul. You won't want to miss that breakdown. This is just the beginning. The restored shooting form, the confident body language, the natural mechanics that made her unstoppable. Caitlin Clark is showing us who she really is again, and the WNBA better be ready for what comes next.